So we're in London doing a podcast with Jimmy Carr, which is crazy. I'm just coming to terms with how obscure my life has gotten ever since taking up photography and videography. It's so cool that I get to work with big massive celebrities and stuff. Well, I say celebrities plural, but there's been like 2 of them. I'm in this really swanky apartment that's in quite of a stabby area, but for 126 quid a night I cannot complain. Not got the best setup right now. I've literally got my camera mounted onto a protein bar, which I'll show you right now. Really good setup, Andres. Really good setup. That's thinking on your feet. So obviously, being in London, we have to do some street photography. Like, it's just a must. Otherwise, what's the point? Just going to see Jimmy Carr? I don't think so. So yeah, we're gonna take some photos in the street. We're gonna meet up with David, and then also get to the podcast, and we'll show you some behind the scenes of that as well.
So here is a tour of my really swanky £126 a night apartment. Some nice art. Really cool kitchen. I mean, for £126 a night, I can't complain. David, I want to know how you got this swanky pad and then I get stuck with a pure Schneider.
It's all about who you know. It wasn't this man either.
I don't know anyone, clearly. Look at that, view the Shard.
HMS Belfast.
HMS Belfast, you've got literally Tower Bridge right there.
If you look close enough to your left, you can see the Clyde Tunnel.
My lens isn't quite long enough for that, but yeah, you can just make it out. That's wild. This is such a cool hotel, man.
It looks so good in the fucking camera, man. I mean, it looks good in real life, but in comparison to an iPhone, not to be patronising, I know that camera's the shit. It just looks...
Yeah.
It does.
It's also the photographer as well, just so you know.
Yeah.
That one.
So David, do you want to tell us why we're in this really swanky pad?
To visit this man. Tomorrow, we are hosting a Development by David podcast episode with Jimmy Carr. I emailed him maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, out of the blue, by guessing his email address and sending him a very compelling message to why he should come on my podcast, and he said yes. He asked me when I was next down in London, and I told him I will be in London when you need me in London, and that's tomorrow.
Even though we know that you can't read David.
The fat cat sat on the mat. You've been on the Modern Wisdoms, the Jordan Petersons, the Stephen Bartletts, the A-Star Comics, and recently Rogan. What is it about these discussions that you've enjoyed so much, even so much to say yes to me?
That's good.
So,
it's really good.
think so?
I think that's really good, yeah. Because you've mentioned all the big ones, and then you've also got yourself in there as well.
So it's also like positioning to the guests that I'm kind of like on their, not the guests, the listeners who might have just discovered me, that I am signalling that, not I'm on their level, but Jimmy's decided to associate me with them, if that makes sense.
You're now amongst it,
yeah.
You know. Yeah, but first of all, move your head.
We're outside 21 Soho to record a podcast with Jimmy Carr. This is the first place I watched stand-up comedy in 2021, and full circle, 2 years on, almost 3 years on, I'm interviewing one of the greatest of all time. Jimmy Carr, welcome to the Development by David podcast. How are you?
I'm very well.
So yeah, that was definitely like one of the cooler experiences of being a photographer and videographer, is getting to meet Jimmy Carr, who I used to watch on the Big Fat Quiz of the Year and all that when I was younger. It's pretty surreal. Really nice guy as well. Yeah, that was pretty cool. And David actually asked me to edit the podcast as well. So I actually got to be a little bit more involved than just taking BTS stuff, which was pretty cool for me. So it's actually just about to go live in a couple of minutes. So what we're going to do is we're going to do like a live reaction kind of viewing.
Jimmy Carr, Tory. So I'm a big fan of immigration, immigrants generally.
Carr, welcome to the Development by David podcast. How are you?
I'm very well indeed. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you very much for reaching out. It's very Cardiff's lost that yet.
Oh, I'm hyped. I can't wait to see like the reaction from people. Like, I think this will do really well for David's podcast in general. You know.
In the same places.
There's a gift to that, isn't there? There's a great book by.
Hold on. What the fuck was that?
There's a gift to that. Though, isn't there? There's a great.
What the actual fuck? What? That's. Why is that black and white? This literally looks as if it's not been colour graded. Is it all the clips?
For music for your
Why is there an ad now? I don't need this right now. I don't need an ad. Fuck off.
No.
This is so annoying, man. So basically what has happened is David's other video guy who made the trailer for the podcast has done some sort of grading, but whatever, I don't know if it's the way he's exported it or something, has removed the grade off of the BTS shots, and it wasn't picked up or it wasn't reviewed after it was exported and just uploaded. Fuck. I don't even know what I want to say, man. It's like my reputation gets tarnished a little bit because people see that online and they'll, you know, all week or the build up to this podcast we were kind of posting about how I was doing the BTS and how good it looked, you know, like we were kind of building it up about like how good that angle looked, and I was really excited for people to see that sort of thing, and now I just kind of feel like it's kind of ruined the whole thing. See, the thing is, I know it's not the end of the world, but it is to me. Yeah, I'm such a perfectionist, man, when it comes to certain things, especially when I put so much time into it. Like, I put so much time into doing this podcast because it was one of the bigger things, and I just feel like it just feels so anticlimactic for me. So, it's been a day or so, and I've kind of cooled off a little bit. My emotions were running a little bit high because I'm so passionate about everything that I do that to see something not come to fruition and kind of work out the way that I had envisioned it just kind of sucked and bummed me out. So, I mean, all in all, mistakes happen. And it's just a kind of lesson of like, you know, you can't control everything and not everything pans out the way that you think it is. Yeah, anticlimactic, but you know, it's still a cool experience, and I've still got my files that I can put in my portfolio. It's just a shame that the amount of views that I'll get, they'll not get to see it in the way it was intended, but on to the next one. All love to David for having me on this project. Yeah. But yeah, that's the video. If you want to see more behind the scenes stuff, then hit that subscribe button.